All right, yeah, JR couldn't be with us tonight, and Cynthia, he didn't drop off those things, so
Yeah,
must have got busy.
yeah, he was running late.
Okay, so Cynthia, vice chair, is agreed. Chair in the meantime.
So
Agenda's on.
calling to order at right at 5:02. And roll call Carla. Here. JR is absent as messaged or mentioned. Mary Elizabeth. Joanna absent. I'm here. Tracy.
I am
Therese.
here.
And Mr. Eric.
Here.
And Therese, this really is your last meeting. It's not through December.
I just assumed it was every year. I was appointed in November and that was
Oh.
my first meeting, and this is 2 terms. I can come in December, but
Well, let me look, when I was looking at the calendar, when you sent me that email, I think your, the term wasn't open until December of 2024.
Oh, look at
What
you.
I,
She
so.
said-
Not the correction, but
I'm returning
it's up to
the
you.
Oh, wait, no.
I just got on another board and I volunteered for 5 things.
That's okay. If this is gonna be your last meeting, that's okay.
No, well, is it 2024?
I'll go on with this, okay? Okay.
Okay,
So approval of the agenda as distributed. Did anybody have any changes? So I think all in favor? Next are the minutes from October 12th. Submitted. They read beautifully as always. Does anybody have any corrections or changes? Motion then? Motion to approve them.
Motion.
Thank you. Second? Thank you. All in favor? Eric.
Well,
Oh,
yeah,
or
you
can
can
he
vote
vote?
until we change it.
So, and then public comment. I don't see anybody online, Miguel.
Nope.
Nobody here. Did you pull up terms?
Yes, I did. So, Therese, you got on in December of 2020, so your 4-year term ends December 2024.
You can see
It was like
She is dumbfounded.
I had plans.
And you can't leave early.
Yeah,
absolutely.
that was my second term.
Yeah, so you're on January 2017.
So
You're on 17.
I'm
to
out
20.
November 2024 or December?
Well, it's
For the
December
year?
1st, so it's
Okay.
November.
Okay.
That's that.
Well, we get to.
Counseling services are available.
It's like I'm holding it together.
Okay.
have some more.
Discussion, action, presentations, and report items. A, our window discussion with Brian. Was he gonna come today?
So Brian had to go down to Seattle and he's currently in traffic in Seattle today. So I had a discussion with him. So I'm gonna pitch it for Brian. Now, the visuals you see here are from the original windmill at the site that was removed. This is.
I'll share with Carla. Okay. Is it two then? Oh. Oh. There we go.
All right, so we'll just go through these just to frame the conversation a little bit. So on the large one here, you have the rough location of the windmill that's proposed just kind of off of the parking lot. There is 2 pages in, you see the pathway that goes around, extended from the pathway to the footprint for the windmill, which will have landscaping around, and then surfacing, and then you have the windmill structure itself. Now, the plan view of what you see here is from the original windmill. This is not the proposed windmill. This gives you a kind of an idea of what the dimensions were on it and what they had looked at with proposed changes for it.
So all of this is the original windmill, is that what
Right.
you're saying? So there's no new drawings of the new windmill?
Not yet. So they submitted the final engineering just a couple of weeks ago. The architect, he's working at basically a discounted rate, almost pro bono. So he's just kind of doing this in his spare time.
You have red notes?
And they submitted to the architect photos of the original windmill for kind of what aesthetic look of what they're kind of looking for. We should see CAD drawing rendering soon. They want it to look, if you kind of like flip through, kind of flip through that, you can see a little bit of just the concept design.
Who is the architect? Is it close to local?
Yeah,
Arts and
it's actually, I do know who it is. Hold on a second, 'cause I-
Didn't we see plans when we went to the fundraiser at Flyers?
So
might see
in this
concepts.
is the conceptual engineering plans, so there's no real final, they don't have finalized plans just yet. It's still kind of, we had to come up with these to show, like Ginger down in the building department, you know, where the floors would be at and what it's being constructed of, but in terms of the final finished design, that's not done yet.
Yeah, that's the architect is working on the renderings right now. So it is. P&L General Contract.
Okay, so there it is right here.
That's not. Okay, so now, what the renderings are going to show you will be a little more stylized, but kind of in the same version. It will not have all this exterior support structure as part of it. They're trying to integrate that in internally. Obviously, you know, being outside, you can imagine the wind shear that is down there in Windjammer Park right now, and the structure that they're building is quite a bit bigger than this one. The blades will not rotate, they'll be static. And the materials of the entire structure will be mostly concrete. Now they have forms that can make it look like any kind of material. So you can make it look like wood, you can make it look like concrete, stucco, metal, whatever. A hardy shape kind of looking exterior. So what they're looking for is feedback on, well, what do we want it to look like? The reason we're going with the concrete material is just so that it has better resistance to water intrusion, salt in the air and all that. Yeah, but there's a lot of tech on how they can make it look. They can make it look like just about anything. So I know that it's been a while, but Brian had some discussions with Therese and Cynthia a while back, a little bit about it, from what he said. But he really wanted to look like something unique or something that really will draw people in as a photo op. The windmill will face the city so that you have the harbor as the background. And the idea really just is, you know, for it to be a good photo op experience. So So they can make it either, some of the ideas they thought about are, they can either make it match very similar to the structures that already exist with the pavilion and the kitchens, and it's kind of that metal wood looks or darker metal and wood looks, which would give it more of a modern kind of contemporary look. They can make it look very traditional. He made a joke that they went through hundreds of pictures of authentic windmills, and they actually look horrible. He thought they were not very appealing, but what I think people have in mind of what a traditional windmill looks like, you can make it look like that, kind of something that matches a little more to the small windmill we have over next to Neal Park or up at the hotel there. What's the third option?
Are they opposed to a little bit of the modern, so it's cohesive with everything
No,
else? in
no,
the
they're
park?
totally open to that.
Because I think it would fit better because they're going exactly where they didn't want the Angel because it's taking a precious green space. And that was the chant, we don't want to lose green space, and now they popped that right in the middle of the green space. So I think it should look like it belongs, not stand
I do
alone.
too. I'll second that one. My question is, if we don't know what the footprint is, how can we get the engineering done?
Well, they do know what the
Yeah.
footprint is.
Oh,
Yeah, they
okay,
have the dimensions of it.
okay. But it's just not on there. Oh, this is the old one though. I thought.
These two first pages are.
Yeah,
It's something
that
that
is
somebody
the
can walk
footprint.
inside.
Oh, I see, okay, okay.
Yes, so if, yeah, here, so the third one here, you have kind of the levels. So the first floor will have kind of open space. There'll be, I think it's expected to have kind of a kitchenette area and a restroom in it. And then you have a second floor.
Floor is primarily storage. The second floor is for people to be able to go onto it and stand out on the balcony and stuff. And it was kind of one of the concepts was like the chamber could use that for the 4th of July for their VIPs and such. So,
That makes sense.
but the reason why the footprint is bigger than the original one is so it can be a functional space and then people can rent it out. It could be revenue generating then to help with the deferred maintenance costs. And so in order for it to be accessible on the bottom floor, we had to have an ADA compliant bathroom and kitchen space. So it can be used for parties, rentals.
My question, this is this bathroom's only available to the
Look at
people that
this.
rent it, right? I mean, I can't,
Correct. It won't be.
I don't
open-
want a loo, I
It
want
won't be open
that.
to the general public, yes. It'll be open only when it's
Okay.
rented.
Oh, okay.
Are they gonna
So
make it,
open to the-
like, more expensive than the kitchens?
That will be up to the city because it won't be at that point. Once it's built, it's gifted to the city. So the city will be the one to
Okay.
the Brian and the staff.
So we went through all this with the park board. They were looking more at, I guess, the conspicuousness of it, being a 80-foot structure, it's quite imposing. They were kind of concerned about that, wondering if it could be scaled down, if it should be scaled down. There's talk about, is it just basically an art piece, or do we want it to be functional? I think what kind of changed their mind on not really liking the size of it was the original one. Do you remember how tall this was?
Actually, it's only about 12 feet taller than the original.
Yeah, it wasn't.
The 80-foot number comes if the blade were to be directed straight up. And so it'd be 80 foot to the top of the blade if the blade were straight up. It's not intended to be straight up. And that's actually from the ground level where we dig to the top of the blade. But yeah, what I think kind of appeased them a little bit was it's only 12 feet bigger than the original.
Yeah, really not,
Comes the height. Yeah.
not as, I guess, strikingly different as I think people originally thought when they heard
The
that.
blades will probably be offset,
They would
like
be
you
offset,
said,
yeah,
so
yes.
like
So it'd
this
be more
instead of
an
like a
X
cross.
As opposed to, yes, exactly. Yes.
So obviously the original was a little more, I don't know if you want to call that traditional colors, but, it had kind of a, is that a Dutch style?
Yeah,
don't know if
I would
would
say it
think
was
about
probably. fully Dutch style.
So again, keep in mind that the support structures will not be on the outside in this version, the term built it in. Incorporated. So the discussion point is really, what do you want it to look like? Do you want elements of wood? Do you want elements of metal? Do you want elements of, kind of whitewashed concrete? What kind of colors do you like? Is there a theming as far as a color palette? If I were to stick this in front of you as an outline and give you a kindergarten coloring project, how would you fill that in?
With the city colors.
Like this,
Yep.
kind of a
Whatever the.
bluish yellow,
So on the pavilion and the kitchens,
which is very
they're
simple.
the blue lamb is this color and their roofs are green, aren't they?
Down at the park?
Yeah.
I don't remember the roofs being green.
Yeah, I don't
It's very
remember either,
full
but I think
size.
it's clear what's going on there already. So now, some more contemporary.
Oh,
so, And wood and metal.
Are we changing the city colors or are we just keeping them?
We're gonna do a branding project. I think they're gonna add to the color palette.
Is Ray still on?
Yeah, she's on. I'm looking for it.
Sorry, I'm listening, but
So, Mary was just asking about the city logo changes.
it's not really changes, but yeah, we're refining the logo.
But we're not changing the colors, we're expanding the palette so we have more to work with.
Correct, correct.
Cause you could yellow that up and put the teal around the trim of the windows. I mean, there's a lot of little touches that you can add color wise that don't make it look so forced.
Yeah, so
So here's this is it from construction, but. So it's wood, it's the brownish
Yeah, maybe it
on
should
the
be
top.
stone.
And then
Ooh,
Just like that.
that's
Yeah.
the,
Yeah.
I
that's
like
the
the stone
pavilion, that'll be
base.
by it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that would be beautiful if
The
that was
bottom
the
could be
stone. That's like-
Looks like stone.
Yeah, yeah,
correct? Yeah.
Now you're matching, because I just, my brain is just like, looks like some, like you said, coloring book, and it's imagining that we have like these, we have the angel on one side, and we have like the land of the giants in the park, but all looking different without any cohesive, yeah. So if we're able to say these things match, then it's just like,
Well, the angel's not even in this park anymore.
it just, even if it's not in the park, it's just like, we have big structures. And then it's like, if it's not matching, always better. Like an outfit, if you're gonna put on, you're gonna put on red shoes and have, orange hair, maybe unless you're Ronald McDonald, you don't wanna, right? I mean, no, because these colors do strike a mental picture
I like the
regardless.
idea of the stone base.
So-
I was
The
wondering
stone would pull it in.
how they're gonna do the blades, that's what I'm curious about, because I think that would make it
Maybe the blades are the only thing with color.
Can you throw back up that picture of the pavilion or do it of the kitchens? I think you get kind of a better look at the stone, the wood, the metal.
What year did they propose this to be completed? They have a.
We have a timeline map, but we're still at the very beginning of it, right? So I think once we get the CAD drawing renderings, we kind of get an idea of what we want for the aesthetic to look like with the forms and coloring. So is that what I'm hearing that you guys like to try and match sort of the look of the
Yeah.
Kumar facility and the kitchens and the other facilities that are
That would make.
have that stone look, the
The stone
Yeah.
kind of looks timeless too. like-
Yeah, I mean, I think it should all kind of
I
go
wonder
together.
about maintenance of the stone versus the white.
This is, stone's gonna be just like stamped
Concrete.
concrete.
Yeah.
So-
No, in a good way.
Yeah.
Like the choosing stone.
I was trying to
Might
care for
get
the
white
fading
stucco.
colors back and forth, always having to paint it or
Yeah.
looking dirty.
So you like the stone for the kind of that base level.
Yes.
What about for more of the tower area and the railing? and things like that?
This looks like it has to be shingles.
Yeah.
Well, it could be what, they
Well,
can make it look whatever. they want.
Metal,
Ooh,
rusted metal.
metal would be kind of
But
cool.
that's, and then your like seams and it.
Like that, what's this- what- What's that called when they do that? Patina?
I went to the East Coast and saw the most fascinating thing on the houses that I had never seen before. The roofs had slate top. They were not tile, it was slate. And I was so fascinated. My sister's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm insurance agent." I'm like, "What is that?" And so I
Very
asked,
heavy
I stopped the construction guy, but he
and
said,
expensive.
but what he said was that it's not all of the roofs are not all that. They have now you can make everything out of plastic.
mhm.
So
Oh, yeah.
there's an opportunity to create a look, even though it's concrete, it could be also that some other durable item could be shingles, but then create a look of wood, but not actually be wood. And then you have
Tracks or
the,
something.
then you have the long lasting, and I know that there's a cost effective.
Well, they could put contemporary deck rails with the stainless steel cabling and, you know,
Eric, this second floor is gonna be observation.
It'll be a smaller usable space, yeah, with access
So
to.
what
the-
about windowed?
It'll be, there's plenty of windows, yeah.
But what if it was like airport windows, like all window,
Or
like
these-
stone, glass, metal?
we have
Yeah,
all-
Yeah, absolutely. But I'm thinking, like
double
airport
pane,
windows,
double
big,
pane, big glass.
yeah,
Even like a whole, like one side that looks out to the water, like not,
north to south.
That's definitely something that would change the architecture.
Right.
You know,
Right, you
that's-
wouldn't be able to get the bend in it, but it could be angled.
And one of those, there's a
Could be.
concept of windows on there on the second floor,
Mm-hmm.
and they're single windows, but I think yeah, they're planning to do that.
What if this whole thing's glass?
Yeah, I don't know how feasible that would be, but
money.
I would see.
There's also the other part of it all being windows, and then
cleaning.
cleaning.
Cleaning and then heat too
Cleaning,
during the
yeah.
summertime.
And
makes it
somebody's
extremely
got
hot.
their,
And then, yeah, the safety.
go inside,
aspect
it's
of
a
it.
sweat lodge.
yeah.
We can definitely ask a question of Brian, the architect. Larger windows.
Or at the top, maybe it's skylight. It brings natural,
So there will be a third floor that would, that
Yeah,
skylight
would-
then wouldn't get down to the second floor.
oh,
The
okay.
third floor
Alright.
would be storage.
And access is through like a ladder or stairwell.
For the
For the
third
top,
floor,
yeah.
yeah, that's a Brian question. but I
Yeah.
believe it's a ladder, yeah. Something that Ginger will have to. approve.
Is there gonna be a way to get things up there and down there besides hauling them up the stairs? Like that.
Yeah, and also, how
Done-
many
been done
entrances, is there
over.
just one entrance? How many safety factors? I'm just.
No, I believe there's a front and rear on downstairs, and then they'll have there's a door upstairs plus the windows.
Upstairs, we won't be able to use it as egress because it just goes up to the balcony without any ladder system. like that.
And then,
I
like
like
you
the
guys said, like
balcony idea.
88, like,
Mm, this is-
is there, I guess it's just people,
You know, my deck
you
rail
wouldn't have access as
with
a
the black
handicap.
and
So the
the
second
cables.
floor, no, just
I think
just the first
that would
floor.
be beautiful and
Mhm.
contemporary
Okay,
and
wait,
safe.
Yep.
Well, for the record, we can't talk over each other, they can't hear it on the video.
Sorry, go ahead. Say that.
It's just kind of upscale deck railing where it's the black metal and then stainless steel cabling through it, and it just, that fits everything as long as you're, you know, and it's not wood, you don't have to maintain it, and it's pretty affordable when you're looking at rail.
It's like a boat. Kind of, don't you think?
Well, and it blends in that it
Yeah,
doesn't,
no, I think it,
it doesn't, I'm the railing, it's like I'm part of all of it,
yeah,
so.
doesn't block the view.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great idea.
I think that with
Stone and
stone
metal.
would look
Really, really
sharp.
Stone cable.
glass, and then
So I don't have a sense of up above, but I'm a traditionalist and the shingle look is attractive to me. However, I don't know shingle with stone down below.
Looks like
It would
whole farm.
work.
It's
it's
whole
like
farm.
old farmhouse castles.
Mhm.
Yeah, and maybe your idea of, you know, instead of it being wood, maybe it's a plastic compound, you know.
Because if it is, because if that, over time, then the wind is gonna rip the roofing as far as like the shingles or asphalt without the durability, especially if it's still open.
Well, I think the whole thing.
The whole thing's gonna be concrete.
Right, no, I'm just talking about the shingle pieces.
It's
But if
gonna
it-
be concrete that's
It's concrete.
pressed to look like shingles.
Oh.
Everything's concrete.
There's no adding to the concrete, it's making the concrete
So we're
look
like,
like.
is it like a 3D and then you're like,
Oh,
okay,
it'll be there
But they can
forever.
make it look like
right.
wood
Shingles,
shingles.
yeah.
They can make it look like whatever.
I think it'd be really important to do like future home of little posting where it's gonna be and actually have the print footprint. I mean, 35 feet is big. I mean, I keep thinking it's big. It's not a
Yeah.
small space. And actually have it diagrammed on the grass with a sign of future home of with a QR code or something. Or,
Go back to that.
but what I'm saying is, I just think it's a big footprint.
It's a big footprint, but you go back to the surveys and all that garbage that came out of the Wikipedia Times, and it's like kite flying and football playing and everything. You're gonna ruin our park with a 6-foot footprint.
Well, you can also use it for, future home of QR and donate here.
To the project.
Yep. Well, I
I'm
can
taking
imagine
notes.
4th of July. 4th of July, it's gonna be like scrambling. I'm gonna preserve it for 2027. Because it's gonna be a popular thing for people.
Sure.
Bid now for your annual, get your down payment.
That's what they do with the marina for the hydros. Okay, so I heard a lot of you guys like that kind of matching stone at the bottom level for the, and talking about the railing, now for the kind of main tower level. Hearing
The
Tile
shingle look.
shingle,
Yeah, I like the
shingle look.
kind of matching the same
I agree.
kind of color wood also there.
Yeah.
And what about for the blades?
Maybe if there's a lightweight metal or something. we
Or a
could do.
composite that looks like metal, that's
Yeah.
super strong. But that's gonna get some wind.
But as far as,
It's
yeah, they'll figure out that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But as
Yeah.
far as like the color,
Yeah.
you like the darker metal, like
Yeah.
Dark.
Yeah, like
Kind of
Match the rail.
Yeah. Everything dark. There's business show.
any other
Whatever
thoughts or
seems like I'm like,
discussions? Do you guys have any questions for Brian you'd like me to bring back?
I like the idea of, maybe not excavating, but putting the footprint there, whether it's gravel or something, and maybe put some rope or chain around it and put the sign so people are aware what's gonna go there, what it's gonna look like, and maybe even have a storyboard that lets people know it's gonna be there and they can look forward to it.
Especially if there was so much battle put into actually coming up with something that support for the city. Or community support, and knowing that it's there versus like, oh, it's gonna go there. I heard versus it's an actuality, and then the buy-in from all of the town and this build up to it. I think that this creates the whole momentum towards it and probably also keeps a little bit of fire getting it done.
And there might be people that if you have to donate here and it's like, yeah,
It is a good fit, though. I'll just say that.
I just go back to the one that I submitted to Blaine,
I
which
keep
was like
looking at that.
7 years ago, and it was stainless steel, and it looked kind of windmilly, but it was also, there was a little aviation to it, and it was gonna get anchored to that piece of concrete out in the water, so it wouldn't take up any space, and it was gonna be this huge, beautiful, like, the guy on Orcas Island who's retiring and leaving Orcas, but the guy that did all that, and it was gonna move like 5 ways, and I think back then, 7 years ago, it was Karen and Bob Nelson's son that did the sculpture that's in my yard. And he was at $75,000 7 years ago. He goes, well, that's not gonna be transporting and that's not gonna be constructing, but that's what I can fabricate. And I was like, wow. So, I mean, maybe it's $375,000 now, but it's just the whole idea that it would be in the water, off the land and doing things like, look at that.
It needs to be a piece of art there.
Well, Brian's been out there and he says it's a big empty pit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
it's
still, but
just
you do,
kind of crumbly walls.
oh,
Or they can
Crumbly,
reinforce it
kinda
with
crumbly.
metal and then put a saddle on it. And then bolt something and at least, like that one gentleman that came to our meeting and he was just talking about silhouettes of something, if there was just, a couple kids looking like they're fishing or something. Just so it puts that into kind of focus instead of just, I thought that was the outfall. For years, I didn't know. Then it just, things get put together and then going to the city council meeting last night talking about, had they just fixed it right, like 20 years ago, we wouldn't be dealing with shoreline permits and all that. So now it's going from a $30,000 or $40,000 job, it's a $390,000 job.
Wait,
Well-
what are you talking about? That sewer outfall?
They were budgeting for it last night at the city
Out
council.
in the harbor, that
Yes.
concrete, that
Yes.
concrete
Yeah.
structure, is that the end of the wharf? Or is that what they called it? The
Yeah.
wharf?
That when they were explaining at the city council meeting last night, that, the sand and the driftwood and everything goes into that pipe, and then it's the middle of the night, we've got a king tide, and we can't get the equipment on the beach anymore because of rules. They've got to send guys out there with shovels, and they're, standing this deep in the water and digging all the crap out of the pipe. It's just, it's like, oh my God, and fixing that is $400,000 now.
We have like 11 outfalls, so it's
Yeah.
for storm drain.
Just interesting.
anything else on the windmill?
Heading in the right direction.
Eric, do you have any thoughts or comments on this?
No, just to speak to the footprint, we did stake it out one time, just to kind of see visually what that looks like. And there is quite a bit of space, but there's still left, and so it's not like it's so intrusive
up
that it's
the
gonna
whole
take up
corner.
the entire park. Yeah, that would be- yeah, and then while we were out there is when we talked about changing the orientation, so it actually faces out towards the city. And so as you're coming in, you'll be able to see it, and you have that beautiful water back from the picture. I think it'll be an asset, it's really what people have been asking for, and so, as long as we can all work together and come up with the aesthetics, I think making it look like the rest of the park is the best way to go. I think it's gonna be a good project.
And I would just like to say that on my trip to Southern Cal, which is probably not so much about the windmill, but more about Whidbey Island, there were several people that I either grew up or encountered that know about Whidbey. Oh my God, you live there? You're there? I was gonna buy a house there. Oh, I visited there. Oh, that's so beautiful there. Oh, so these totally lets me know that the traveling and the aesthetics and the things that we do, the art that we put up, the permanence of it, as it draws for the economic vitality of here. Putting thought into the things that we're going to put up and have and draw people and the quality of them, because the people that they're traveling here, they're coming from, they're making trips like all the way from, you know, oh, we took a trip from Southern Cal all the way up to Vancouver, and we on our way we went to that island when we were going to the ferry to go to, you know, so this is like, so and if the world is so big and the people that are talking to me are in my sphere of just randomness or not even knowing that they knew that I live here, I encountered one of my high school friends like on Facebook, like, where are you? It's like on Deception Pass. I'm like, dude, I'm here. Where are you? And so like we meet up for lunch. So this is like, they're coming from places far away that are, and they're enjoying it here, and then they're going back and telling people. And so if we are able to influence the people to come here, leave their dollars, and then but leave it as a quality place and a quality experience, not just like, oh, Deception Pass, but also Oak Harbor. Oak Harbor shouldn't get passed over like on when I was coming from Langley, and then there was this place when I was going to Deception Pass, versus like, oh, we stopped in Oak Harbor, and then in Oak Harbor there was this.
Yeah, there's so much wonderful information that support the economic vitality of the arts.
Just running into it randomly was, you know.
Right now, I saw a post about a new plant store on Pioneer Way, and Terravan's opening, and they have a huge following, and it's kind of leather, culty, medieval times and Renaissance fairs, and that's really a huge draw. They've got a lot of volunteers with Mad Batter. It's like Pioneer Way looks better than it has in the history of this town. And people are scrambling. It's like a for rent sign, and it used to be there for 2.5 years. Now it's like, oh, there's no for rent sign in that building anymore. It's just exciting. It's very, very exciting. And I know there's a lot of people in this town that hate tourism and hate traffic, but that will get us to the next. Yeah. I want to stay here. I mean, I want to spend my dollars here instead of getting in the car and going to Anacortes or Bellingham or Langley or Town. Okay. Yep.
So just know that when this gets built, you're resigned that the next generation are just going to call it Windmill Park. We're not going to call it City Beach. Not going to call it One Jammer. Kids, that's just how kids name things. It'll be like forever Windmill Park for every little kid that grows up over this.
We'll just change it. Initiative. You can proactively put it on the back burner for right now, because it'll take 10 years to complete it.
Okay, next, advisory board municipal code and bylaw revisions.
Been working on for a long time. There's bylaws. These are the same documents that I sent in the agenda.
Oh, they're not the same.
They are.
Yeah,
They are the same,
the same one.
I've got copies.
Okay.
Other people do not.
Is this just for our records?
Yeah, these are drafts. So what happened was, you probably remember, I can't remember, we started this at the beginning of this year, wanting to look at everybody's bylaws, the ordinance resolutions that created them, and just standardize things, everything from terms to attendance policies to just a lot of stuff. So Tim, thankfully, took the lead on redrafting all of these ordinances.
Thank you, Kim.
And so there's one ordinance now that's called the Uniform Policies for Boards and Commissions. And that's just kind of a standard if we were to bring on new boards or committees, you know, kind of some of the things that are standard, including the attendance policies, the functions of the ex officio council member, if the board is to have a student member, what their functions are, quorums, terms of office, the required training, the requirement to review your bylaws more periodically, and then the annual work plan, which as Brian's done, both parks and boards are already on that train of creating their work plan. Then the second ordinance, each board or commission will have its own specific ordinance because it's going to put forth their duties you know, for that specific board. If there's different things regarding membership attendance and vacancies, those can be adopted in that ordinance just specific to that board. And then the third document is the bylaws and rules of procedure. And that's just a document that tells for more like how often your meetings are held. It has some of the information, but it's more like procedures to be followed. Arts has a little bit more in their specific ordinance because you guys have funding through the Creative Arts Fund and those types of things, which I know when it comes to the Arts Master Plan, some of that stuff will be put forth in there. So what we did, we had this done for the more public facing boards, which is Arts, Parks, Marina Advisory, Planning Commission, Historic Preservation, and we took those to council at their last workshop to get their feedback. One of the things for the terms we're standardizing it, so everyone is January to December. A term is a calendar year. And so the odd positions will expire in odd years, even position on even years. Council wanted 2-year terms, so they'd be a little versus the 4-year terms. Because right now we have some boards that are 2, some that are 3, and some that are 4. So the feedback was 2-year terms. So
Do they have a reason?
let's go back to the meeting.
Yeah, it was sorry, it was about the longevity and people being able to serve and complete that term, which, you know, with 4 years, it's a long time when you're volunteering for something. So that was some of the feedback we got. So we took that to heart because that is a good point when you're volunteering.
We didn't put any limits on, I mean, you can be reappointed. So there's no limits, like you only can serve your 2-year term when you're done. We didn't go as far and say, you know, like 3 terms and you're out. So we didn't recommend that. Because when you do that and then you don't get enough volunteers, then you have vacancies on your board. So it's kind of a.
But some of them are fairly niched. I mean, I think that's part of what led to the Historic Preservation Commission dying out.
Yeah,
So there's no term limits.
Correct. Yeah. so. What we do?
Yeah, it's in that, you know, one
Oh, we do?
Oh,
under
yeah,
the
sorry.
office section.
So-
Thank you, Kim. So it would be 6 years.
Okay.
So
That's a long time.
is
Yeah.
that 3 consecutive or 3 total ever? For the life-
Consecutive to 3.
Thanks. Kim.
But I think they can also make a motion to waive that term restriction.
So, Mikhail, if we have a member that needs to step down or leave the board for whatever reason, you know, in the middle of their term, do we have someone fill in the remainder of that term, or does that person coming in start a new 2-year term?
No. So they're supposed to just fill the remainder of the term. But what happened over the years, as different people and different departments were doing their own boards, that's exactly what happened. Is they would just start the new term from that date, and now we don't have any staggering. You know, some people are up at different times and we miss it, so just to, you know, we just have a small group that manages all the members, and we have to try to keep up with the training and everything. It's just easier if we could just standardize the terms, and we would all know coming up with December, everyone's.
Could we make a determination? We were looking at whether we could add someone that was not a resident onto the commission.
So,
I can-
Are you not a resident?
so,
Special. Because my business is
yeah.
so.
Yeah, that's one thing we'll talk about because it does affect this board. So we did try to extend residency at least to the UGA or the JPA, which is the city's planning area, because that would get more people than just city residents. We did have a business owner on a board that didn't live in the area, and that was kind of became concerning that they didn't live in the area, they always attended the meetings virtually, they were, here seeing what's going on. So we don't have just a business owner. Now, like with the Marine Advisory Committee, they have, members that own slips in the marina, but aren't residents. So for their committee, there's a recommendation that they have so many city residents, so many boat owners. So I guess that we did mark that as a question here of this board about residency and,
Right.
if people are outside the UGA or UGA.
And that's
And
for the, up to the commissioners to the city to accept that, right?
Yeah, so that would be something,
And I think
if the board wants to recommend that to city council,
and I think this one
something
was the-
different than just having city residents.
This was in this case, my case was that the mayor had to approve it. So it wasn't just like a shut up. So the mayor had to sign off,
He still appoints everybody.
but he had to, yeah, but he had to approve this. It was just worded like special something. I don't,
Historically, well, it started with 9 and then they reduced it to 7. But the out of city members couldn't overpower the city members. And that's what happened with Mary Elizabeth, is she lives out of the city and we had her interested in the seat, and Bob looked at it like, well, she spends more time in her office than she does at home. So she's in the city, she's here all the time.
literally.
And, at the time, we really were screaming for a little diversity as well. There's that.
Yes, but again, I think if there's an opportunity to put in that recommendation to review. Because I think in the long term, in the bigger picture, it becomes problematic when you start having inconsistencies regardless of the board. I think that if there's an opportunity for the request to be put before council or the mayor to make an exception, then that's something that can put in the drafting. I don't know.
Okay, so to have a business owner.
Right, because I think, because it's not standard, then, and also to avoid any type of conflict, the board, the council should be able to make that approval. Or at least it should go in front of council so that everyone is aware and nobody feels like something was slipped in under their noses. And now it's like, okay, it was all done above board, not that there was some special circumstance because of whatever. Because I'm not gonna be here forever, but then if that just stays out there, then it leaves opportunity for some other manipulation down the road.
So this is what it says right now, under that BC uniform policies. It says, except as may be otherwise provided, blah, 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 blah. All board, commission, and committee members shall reside within the city limits of Oak Harbor or city urban growth area, UGA. That's number 1. Then down at the bottom it says exceptions to residency requirements. It says exceptions to residency requirements may be permitted by ordinance. What's ordinance?
So that's where we would intend it to be the ordinance that's specific to each board.
Okay.
Yeah. Because like for certain boards thing, they may want all residents on it.
So they-
That's the general uniform policy. But like I said, with Marina, it does be based on what they do and what their function is. They do have, they're recommending that they have a little bit different.
I actually think it's a good idea to have someone as part of the committee whose business is here. The reason I think that is they have maybe more vested interest in the success of the city than maybe someone that lives here, because their business, it's a livelihood, that's how, and it's in their interest to see that the city flourishes and does well. So I am pro a person being on a committee that is, or a commission that is, has a business here.
I'm all for it. I just like it all in writing because there's always that. Just because you said so doesn't mean it is so. But if you put it in writing, then you go back to the, why are you doing this? Paragraph 1 and line 2. It's so much easier to go back and it's less of a headache. Especially when this is the opportunity to actually put things in writing instead of going back later on and inserting them later. And so the door is open right now, so we might as well just, fix it. Or take the opportunity to put something in place.
And the idea of having a student on. at the
Yeah, I
table
wanted to
is
go back to that.
Really important.
Sorry, I'm just trying to share here. Because there should be, I don't have a copy of the arts ordinance, but there was some red language that said about the non-resident.
On page 2.
Yeah, on page 2, so that's where it would be listed, where that, so it says no arts commission, like one member could be a non-resident, or
Yes.
if you want more than one or business, that's where we would
Yes.
put that language in whenever it's determined.
Okay.
And then,
I'm just thinking, it's kind of interesting that there's such a back and forth on the number of members. They increased it in 2016 from 7 to 9 and then changed it back from 9 to 7 in 2017.
I thought,
After they had reduced it, I guess, so originally it was 9 and then it went down to 7 in 2012 and then back up to 9 and then back down to 7. I'm curious what the thoughts were on the makeup. of the
Cat
number.
was overworked on the last one. It was for less voices, less people to have ideas, less is better. That's his thought.
Cynthia said it's hard to recruit. I mean, look at us now. We have a member that hardly ever shows up. And I don't really know
And a
very many.
vacancy,
Yeah, the vacancy and.
9 is a comfortable board size though.
uncomfortable.
No, a comfortable.
Well, I haven't
It doesn't-
recruited at all in the last 6 years. She's the one that got me to apply. But I've talked to most of the people that have been on the Arts Commission, I mean, and before that, there were people that just didn't come anymore. The photographer, John? And then there was another photographer, I can't remember his name, and they were hardly ever showed up and then they just quit. And then Lowell moved to Switzerland.
Art people are like. herding
Yeah.
cats.
But I can tell you that council recommended Marine Advisory go from 5 to 7, so 7's gonna be
Be the
the
comfortable number.
comfortable number.
Okay.
You talked about the vacancy for the alternate position. When we look back and look, there's several boards that we've been filling alternate positions that were not provided for in the code, so we didn't put alternates in here. Now we will have rules if people don't show up for attendance that we can, the mayor can address them, like, we really want to serve on this board. If not, would you like to step down, so we could have, we do see the community participating more, wanting to, participate in the boards and committees now, especially as they're gaining some traction and doing stuff. So we didn't put alternates, so it'd be 7 members, a student, and then the ex officio council member.
Can I recruit for a student? I would like to actively recruit for a student.
Could reach out to Kit. He's the one that kind of vets the kids in the art program.
Why do we have to vet?
Well, we have to interview them. They come in and they've done their presentation and everybody votes on
Is
their
there,
enthusiasm.
so my question, so is there an application for the student?
Yes. It's like a resume.
Where is it?
The last time we did it, Sid Shapula, Mark Shapula's daughter, applied and she was like hands down towered over the other kids.
I think once we get this set up and we can have students, we will work with the school because we do want, high school students and they're going to be able to serve, not a full term,
Right,
they're
right,
gonna
right.
serve while they're in school.
Right.
So we'll have to come up in front of a process. So
Okay.
all the boards with student members have the same
same.
process, the school knows, and then, yeah, you can recruit them. We'll have an application similar to the biography form, I'm sure, and,
Very
you know,
I just asked.
if the boards wanted to meet them at first, you know, I'm sure we can work that out in the process, but. So
They
I'm
just-
not sure I was done in the past. We haven't had one
But I
since
think
I've been
You
here.
could reach out to Kit because he was in charge of the student for 3 of his terms.
There's a section of uniform ordinance that covers the student member.
okay.
that might have some-
So that's what I was asking. So, I mean, does it have to, do we have to have a designated student position? Or can the commission just decide, hey, we have a vacancy, we'd like that? Because I know in some of the language in other commissions, they have the makeup as saying so many members and a student rep or youth rep.
Yeah, so the youth would be an addition to the 7.
And the
So
student doesn't get a right to vote.
we did non-voting. If we have them voting, then you have an 8-member quorum.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, an 8-member body, and then to make quorum, you have to have more. So, I mean, if you want them to vote and participate in the process of, you know, you could get what their vote would be.
Yeah.
And try to engage them like that, but if they're not, if they're only serving, you know, their senior year, and then they're gone.
For an adult.
It's
Yeah.
just great exposure,
Sure. Credit, no credit.
just for the whole process of being on a board.
So just to, if I may make a suggestion with the residency thing, the business versus residence, I would still recommend that the person have to live in the UGA, because otherwise we can get kind of what we had before the past commission, where we had, I guess, a business owner, but still didn't live in the city, didn't live on the island, and so it was difficult for attendance purposes.
I don't live in the UPA. Way out.
How do you, is it just county?
It would be county, yeah.
I do live in.
The
Okay,
the only thing
County,
I
county,
noticed about
yeah.
county is, if you say island county, we're now community.
Right.
So we don't,
What
I don't know
zip code?
It's all in
Oh.
one zip code.
98277.
Either 98277.
Yeah.
We are all.
Like that limits it
And
to
is it
basically North Whitby.
Yeah.
9278 base.
The basis, yeah, 98277.
Yeah, no, you can't be on that.
No. but-
I'll tell you, though, we've had
No,
some
I'm
folks
thinking
that live on the
we
base
both-
that want to be
we
We
members.
could
well,
make that
be-
so we
specific
could.
to
I think
Ryan Bradley
98277
applied.
or live North
He
Woodby.
really wanted
or,
to be on
you know,
that commission and has
specify
for
that
years,
it'd
and
be
they
North
put him
Woodby or
someplace else.
98277 or
Yeah, we,
98278.
the problem is North
Either
Whitby is
Ryan.
like, where does that?
He's on the
Right.
very
How
end,
do
I
we-
think,
we-
and
we-
he's
we-
in
we-
the
we-
zip
we-
code.
Yeah, go like that.
They
Yeah.
said about-
Yeah.
Right,
On about,
we'll take that back as a recommendation to,
Go back to
And it's 277
and 278.
so,
278, they're on base.
One of my points.
yeah, we had that discussion too, because there's a lot of areas that aren't in city limits, but are part of the community.
No.
Okay.
Now, what's next for you with this?
So what's next is we're getting the board's feedback this month. Then we will take these ordinances to city
Plus,
council for action in December.
people to get it in.
With regard to the terms, when we take this back to city council, the people who are currently serving, you know, we're not gonna short anybody's term, so we're gonna try to work it so everybody who's in office, their term would be extended if they want to stay to meet the December, until we went to December 25 and December 26 for this first cutoff. So anyone, you know, we can, if they want to be reappointed, then that's how we were gonna work it, so we didn't cut people off and just got on.
Can we just revisit the terms again? Can we get that sent out to us so we
Oh.
all can see
Actually,
where
yeah,
we're
I can
at
pull
with
that
it
and
and how you're gonna stagger?
just here. Yeah.
Anything else for that, Cal?
No.
Okay.
Anything else before we move on?
Okay, subcommittee updates, wrapping of electrical boxes and chemical installation. Who's that? Trees? Ryan? I think that was wrapping of the boxes.
JR was really hitting it hard with the schools, but I thought my last meeting, that I was gonna kind of volunteer to be part of this because I really loved your idea about going back historically and finding all the people that have been on the Arts Commission and like Skip. Casey, sorry. Just to go back, and if they want to, even if they don't have the time or the energy or the health to assist them in having something that represents them, and then have the years that they serve, so that if you chose your art, your first year would be here, and then we'd add it later when you're not there anymore.
Yeah.
But that way, it kind of historically gives some homage to your volunteerism in this group.
Especially in the inaugural.
I mean, Nora
wrapping.
was here for
Ever.
12
Forever.
years. I mean, as long as it was.
Carla's probably the next in line for tenure.
Well, there'll be different dates. 1, 2.
I did send out that spreadsheet just as a worksheet to you
And
and
they want to see
JR.
that in the packet.
And it was
Yeah.
kind of down and dirty,
That's
but
a
my
lot.
intention was just to make sure that the subject across the top led to some procedure for the headers on that. So change it up to how you ever want to work with it, but it would be a good way to track it.
I wanted to take for the Arts Commission, the 2 pieces, the 2 boxes that are across from Wells Fargo.
I think you and JR can do that. Put whoever names, I don't think the whole committee or the whole board has to vote. Does anybody else feel differently about that? I mean, I don't care. Personally, I just want to see them wrapped.
Just wrap
So,
them up.
yeah. Give them to the teacher, give them to the senior center.
And
Yeah.
yeah, the senior center is excited about that as well.
Yeah, I agree. You guys can make your
Divvy them out.
I think just getting them off the bat and then starting something that in some way annually or something, they switch, and then people start getting used to that, and then people wanting to buy into that, having one with the windmill or whatever pieces of art that are in the city, just like you have themes annually or something like that, but start out with like.
Well, it's an outdoor art gallery. We have a lot of historic pictures that let people know where we've been and where we've come to. And some of those old pictures, there could be a box that just has really good historic pictures and maybe some verbiage that explains it. So it's just like a living history museum, and you're just walking down the street and you decide to stop by a power box. Yeah,
I'm-
for sure.
I noticed in the pictures, there were actually 12 locations.
I thought one was duplicated on the original list. So I just need some cross-reference what I was looking at.
And also the Wells Fargo one looks like it actually has so 2 side by side.
Yeah, that's
So
like the one we
actually
did.
like 13.
But would that be one person, one entity or?
That both those
Yeah.
boxes would be
Be
wrapped,
considered
but
wrapped.
one of the things that you said that I took to heart was you have to leave some of it open so that in the future we can add, you know, maybe it's just a blue background, because the way Dawn and Jeff fixed what was done with the students from Erica's class was to go back and lay a vinyl over it, because they didn't put in something from Emily Dickinson or something. So they just made another sticker and stuck it on, and you can't tell. So it's all in the way we did it versus the way Langley did it. It's a lot easier, and it's kind of fudge proof.
Well, it would be probably more cost effective too.
Yeah.
For their time of installation. On installation.
So I'm willing to work with JR on
Yeah.
that and just put
Do it.
titles in the middle.
Yeah, because if you get all of them assigned and people working on their ideas, springtime could be a launch, which isn't very far away.
Well, and maybe we do a thing where when we do the Holland Happening and all the kids put their pictures in front of all the businesses, maybe we work as a group and we walk through and we select the kids that submit there, and they're from all the schools and all the classes. So it's not just one, but it's like, we're gonna go for the people that were interested enough to be part of Holland Happening this year. So there's so many opportunities to tap
And
into
don't
kids.
forget the other service groups like the senior center.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Right? So, yeah, there's so many artistic groups. It doesn't have to be all the kids. There's a lot of them. I'm excited about it.
Hey.
And then, Ken and Brew collection. We haven't met to come up with ideas for the last two places. So that's still open.
I'm just kind of keeping those, like you said, on the agenda,
Okay.
so.
We'll make time to do that, but not in the week.
We should be able to find a place to put the
Yeah.
Gate of Inspiration.
Let's just find time to go walk. or drive.
But not near the water, because permits are involved.
Yeah, it should be on the walkway.
But Richard's art that's down there, almost getting the water splashed on it, never had to have a permit, and it's,
It really depends on if, like, how much ground disturbance there is or the height of it. You know, there's different things that trigger permitting. I
'cause-
don't think placement of art in itself is gonna.
so Gate of Inspiration is smaller than Richard's piece, so we could probably find some place for that to go, and it's not huge.
So I'll text you guys. Or email you.
But
See who
we
wants
were
to
talking about
project.
the art trail.
Yeah. it should be
And
on
we
the art trail.
really, when we walk that trail, you can't fill it in a year, but you can fill it and then also just get interest from local artists who, there are people I know that have studios full of art that they would love to share or donate or rent to us until it sells. So that walking along there would make it. I never walked on that trail
Oh.
when I walked with you
Yeah.
guys that day. And that would make it another attraction to do and get out in the fresh air. And you end up in Windjammer Park, depending on where you park. But most people don't even know about the echo chamber.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things that we could share with the community.
Well, and that leads into a whole different subject that we'll put on the agenda for next month, and that is updating an art walk in Oak Harbor with existing art. And that can roll right off of the website being designed with QR codes on those. And I spoke with JR earlier, and he mentioned, naming the ducks and give the right ribbon cutting, but it could roll right off of all of it together, right? The website, launching the art walk with all of the existing pieces and then taking them one at a time and giving them the ribbon cutting and attention they need once we start writing about what's around here again.
Walking tour.
So I can't remember what the Gate of Inspiration's footprint is. And I've left Dan 3 messages and he hasn't called me back, but there's in front of the coffee shop. And I believe it's his property, but it's kind of on the sidewalk. It's, there's a little,
Which
there's a square of concrete that comes up about this much, and I don't know what used to be on it, but it's right next to his metal grass planters. And if we could get permission and an agreement, we could place that sculpture right there, and it's out of the public
The
walkway.
easements downtown are really weird though, right, for property owners. That might not be his, it might be the city. I don't know, we'd have to look at a map.
Because I was just gonna take one of his 6 that I have and pull up one day, slide it out, hold it down and take off. Say, surprise! Well, I wanted his permission first and then he'd probably say, well, you gotta talk to Brian and, somebody else, but it would be great to have something that's not a tiny bronze on Pioneer Way.
Yes.
Okay. More on that next month.
Yes.
Okay. Anything else? Well, again, I'll reach out to you guys and I'll find the right time and day and time to drive around for those. And then last in the discussion area is Parks and Recreation Director updates.
Okay, so, let's see. I sent you that stakeholders list. Was that what you were looking for?
I didn't see it.
Okay,
It probably is, yes.
I wasn't sure what list you were talking about. If it was something with the art show or if it was what we were putting together for the art plan.
Yeah, it was for the art. plan.
Okay,
So
I
was
think
referring-
I think I sent you the document. Let me know if that's not right. So speaking of the art plan, today was the closing date for proposals submitted. I know earlier this week we had at least 5. So
Good.
I don't know how many we ended up with. Sandra and I will go over the list on Monday. So I need to create a review committee that will help grade and make a selection.
I'll be on it.
I'll be on it.
Let's,
She's retired.
I don't know that I really have any policy around how many people, so who wants to be?
Sure.
I'm excited about it, but you guys have a lot more experience with choosing something that would be moving us forward.
Thanks for the vote of confidence.
So probably what we'll do is we'll schedule time to sit down and look at all the proposals. Let's talk about how you want to weight the grading matrix. Like, I can send you a template, and you kind of tell me, okay, well, these things I feel are more important than these things. We'll go through together, grade it out. We'll come up with our top 3, and either we can make a selection off that, or if you like, we could actually schedule interviews with the firms and just have a discussion and get a little more in depth, and a chance for you to kind of feel them out a little bit and see.
Look them in the eyes. That says a lot.
I don't want to have a, can I just be like a fly on the
Yeah,
wall?
sure.
Observation.
We have to go, but we.
I don't want to talk, I just
No
want to watch.
faces, right?
I just want to see the process.
Okay.
I wouldn't mind sitting in it.
Don't give me clicky pins and you can.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
I think it's amazing the progress from last year to this year.
Yeah.
And
Thank you to Brian.
Yes.
Ryan, and I think starting when we bring Eric on and making, like, giving ourselves elbow room for reaching across the table and creating more openness to listen to each other. So I think that, you know, to the opposing sides or just other opinions, I think that it's just been really, since I started on the board, it's just been a recognition. It's been a lot of positive action. So
Any other member comments?
Should all pat yourselves on the back. When I first came on and we're having discussions with some of the staff, and said, no, you don't want to do this.
somebody
Last thing I heard
Bunch of
was,
weirdos.
Gideon was being traumatized, and there was like fights and cussing and all that. So,
Someone did ask me, why would you do that? I'm new here.
Okay, so Cynthia, Carla, and Tracy will be on the review panel. We'll include Mary and Teresa to be creepers in the background. Talk about process. So we probably should just go ahead and schedule a time to meet and put that process, formalize that process a little bit and come up with the grading sheet. We can jump into the grading at that point if you want, but let's just go ahead and schedule a date to do that. I know, especially since we're starting to get into holiday season.
When do these people that applied expect that they'll be interviewed? Is there any expectation?
You're a fly.
That's a good question. I'll find out more of those
No,
answers.
but that's how you
Monday
pick
when
your
I
dates. Like, do we need to have the date in December or January?
So if you go to the RFP, I think it has all those dates in there.
I only have the draft. I don't
I don't remember what it was.
I got mine.
Where's that union for the constellation?
I do.
Okay, and it does have on here criteria. The criteria our consultant's understanding of the city's desires and general approach to the project is demonstrated in the project description and scope of work. Completeness of the work included in the proposal, consultant's experience with projects of similar complexity and function, qualifications of the consultant's staff being assigned to this project, and the consultant's ability to perform high quality work, control costs, and meet schedules. Now, now that kind of point grade is evenly divided with up to 20 points for a total of 100 points. It says, should the city determine that interviews are desirable, up to 25 additional points may be granted based on those interviews. And we could probably play around with the weighting of those if you feel like, okay, their past experience of doing similar projects, is more important than their ability to control costs or whatever that is. We can have a discussion on that. As far as the scheduling, so vendor submittals were due today. Vendor interviews, reference checks, draft scope of work, November 10th through the 17th. So then contract agreement, vendor approval, notice to proceed sometime in December. So, within the next 2 weeks, we'd like to kind of process. I can throw out maybe a couple suggestions, like next Wednesday, the 15th.
I'm down.
Fine.
Remember cocktails or something.
Kidding. Kidding.
So 8:30.
And?
Yeah, prefer morning, midday, lunchtime, afternoon, evening.
I have the morning available up until 2. And then I have-
You're a fly on the wall.
Okay, you're right.
I can make any time work except for 10 o'clock.
It's up to you.
Yeah.
Right now, the
I'm
rest,
available anytime.
how about 11?
Yeah, location.
Why don't we do it at the Parks and Rec office? That way, depending on how traumatic the experience is, you can go right to lunch or cocktails. Right.
Well, and it could be that after the review of the initial review, we could narrow it down and just interview a couple of candidates.
Are they regional?
I think they're all over the country. Which is pretty typical.
Yeah.
And they scope out some of the budget for doing on-site. They'll come and tour and they want to go see all the art. They want to meet with council. They'll want to meet with you. They want to meet with whatever our stakeholder list is. They'll do a survey. I've had a lot of good discussions with several firms. So basically everyone except for JR.
He might want to be a fly too.
Anything else?
Right.
I'm gonna
Last thing
How many
have to-
people?
for
I
our,
think I can do a notice of appearance that you're all gonna be there, but only 3 are out. I have to double check this. Notice that.
and I'm going to put Teresa Mary as optional on that. So Sandra is doing our insurance list and just needs an updated and make sure an accurate list of all of our artwork for the city. Gideon has a list, but I would like to get some eyes on it that are more aware of what we do have than me. I'm probably going to try and just randomly drive around and see if there's anything we're missing on that list, but Is there some one or two people I can send this to and you can look through it and see if anything's missing?
For next month's agenda, I'll go out and take pictures, but the art that we purchased before me, there's a big limestone sculpture in Fort Nugent Park that looks like a team of teenagers took ball peen hammers to it. And it's been like that for 5, 6, I mean, when I first saw it, it was like it was damaged already, but that's a generator and an angle grinder. So, I mean, we could put, there's a lot of people that do stone sculpting on the island. We could put a little bit out and see if anybody's interested in coming and repairing that sculpture for us. So if you're interested,
Schedule for everything.
yeah, and I have a book that I inherited from George Drake that talks about maintaining outdoor art. So I can donate that and bring it in and we can build a program around it.
Tracy, what's your email? I'm sure it's not-
I'm sure Tracy.
I'm just gonna send this to all you guys, just so you can take a look at it. Let me know if.
Brian. Any other member comments?
Wait, I do have just one quick question. With the promotion committee, we were still waiting to hear back from that meeting. Joanne, we were trying to work around Joanne's schedule.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it was just you at the last one. Well,
I was at the first one. And then where we got to talk about dressing up the ducks and naming them. Talking about how, in Fremont in Seattle, how the bus statue people get dressed up for the season.
They also do that in Portis, like if you
Cool.
drive the, whatever the first street is when you're going to Portis, when you turn off by the marina, right? And they have like some sculptures, some steel sculptures, and they dress them up. Yeah, they dress up the joggers. They dress them up like every year, and sometimes it's random, but they dress them. I think it's so cute.
When I drove through town today, the mermaid had on a hat and a scarf.
Somebody
It was very
dressed
cute.
her.
Yeah, nice.
And then I thought it'd be cute, like, if the kids, had a naming contest for the ducks.
So the only thing I guess I want to comment on is the lion at the playhouse that we were introduced to. Not everybody got the news of the history of that, but it actually came off of a building in Seattle. And it's kind of a cool story. I tried to get the newspaper article here tonight for you on JR, just take a
Oh.
copy because the file I sent Mikhail was way too small. But it's got a really cool history and they're gonna have fun with it. He was at a meeting with them today. They're gonna name the lion, they're gonna start using him as kind of a mascot and just kind of roll with it, but it really is a cool history. The building now in Seattle is a parking garage,
Oh, dang.
but
It was a theater.
that's gonna show place. What was this, the lions or the leaders in Paloma?
I read the whole article and I think
Yeah,
But
I didn't get to see the article.
they were connecting to, I think, Sacramento. Her dad was from Sacramento and he built the building. And then she said, I'm getting one of those lion heads. And shit.
Yeah.
And then it ended up in the
How
weeds.
big
it-
is it? Like this big?
No, it's
bigger. It's like,
But it's, yeah, it's big, so we built a base for it, it'll be like a little MGM lion.
yeah.
I can see little bronze.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And Any other member comments?
Send an email out, just to check, I had copied you guys on it. so that you'll know. But once that, go ahead.
And then anything to add for future agenda items outside of what was already mentioned? And then we'll ask that we make a motion to adjourn. 6:27. Or
That, you want that?
if you don't want